Okay, you can see that I have now got 6 panels. They are all the same size anyway. You can see what panels they are right here. And these are all ready to be bolted together with, that is actually an old bed frame that I've got. And I'm going to bolt that to give it extra strength so that I can mount it to the roof and not just be depending on these pieces, which these will add strength, but so will the actual frame. And it will also give me a way to mount to the bus. I'm actually going to have to make some brackets up on top. But I replaced these two, which are destined for the cabin at some point. But for the bus, right now, we're on the solar array still. And what I'm wanting to do is drill holes through. You can see I've already got one there, and there's one over there that I've drilled through and I've bolted. Now, whenever you drill through, when you want to drill through, or this is my method that I use. I don't know if this is the right way or not. Seems to work for me, so this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm afraid that if I just take my drill and pull the trigger and drill through the steel here, and then drill through the aluminum, once I drill through the aluminum, as soon as you get done drilling, you've got a jerk at the end where it falls through the hole, goes forward like that. Now if that happens, this is glass, or it's plastic under here, but you'll go through and you'll hit the glass and you'll crack the solar panel or possibly break a wire inside there. Then this whole solar panel is useless. So a little trick that I've been doing, got a piece of wood that I stick in here, and that goes under where I'm drilling the hole. I wish these would have lined up, but they didn't. But where I'm drilling the hole here, when it breaks through, you don't have that sudden forward jerk that actually ends up damaging your panel. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drill a hole right here. As you can see, I have the hole drilled through. I'm going to go over here, drill this one out also. And I'm just going to continue. Alright, now all this is all bolted together. You can see I used some aluminum for the sides to reinforce, because the wind is going to be blowing across this way and I don't want it to try to fold anything up or anything. So you can see this frame only came to right here. It's more for support this way. But I'm just wanting to make sure this stays good and solid. So you can see how I did the bolts. They go in through there. There's the bottom of it. And there's the nut down inside of there. So it's bolted across that way. So it bolts this set, that set, and that set together. Okay, now what I'm going to do, the way I'm hooking these up, is what they call series parallel. You have two ways to hook up solar panels, multiple solar panels, into a single charge controller. One way is hooking them all in series, which would be, you can see these two are hooked in series. Okay, the positive from one is hooked to the negative of the other, and that leaves the negative and positive of, you can see you've got the positive coming off of this panel up to here, negative coming off of that panel up to here. Okay, then I've got the other two sets the same way. You can see right here, this one, and you can tell one, the negative comes from this panel, positive comes from that panel. Same thing with this one. And what that does is that puts them into, this set is in series, this set is in series, and this set is in series. Now, okay, I was going to put the whole system, now each bank, in parallel with each other. Alright, why series and parallel? Alright, the simplest way to say it is, okay, if you have all of these panels in series, like let's say I take this negative and hook it to this positive, okay, and then hook that negative to that positive, and then just have one positive and one negative coming off of this whole set, then you would have a higher voltage and all the panels will be hooked together. You could actually, you have a lower amperage, so you can actually run smaller wire. The problem is, any panels that are in series, if you have, let's say this panel gets shaded, let's say there's a branch hanging over and it's only shading this one panel, the whole array is affected by this one panel being shaded if they're in series. So if they're in parallel, then you can have this panel shaded and it will only affect these two. It won't affect the rest. The rest of them will be getting full power. So that's why I'm putting them in series parallel. These are all going to run to a junction box, and that junction box is going to combine all the positives and all the negatives together. Well, it will be these three negatives, that one, and these three positives. So you actually have three sets of series panels, and each of the three sets will be in parallel. Okay, so how are we going to get this mess up on top of the bus? I don't know yet. Okay, now you can see the panels are up there. It's actually set back from the edge a little bit, and that should work. And you can see it's meeting up with that edge. and it's meeting up with that edge. Almost. It can go over a little. But this is an old part of a bunk bed frame. This went up on the top bunk from when the kids were younger. Don't need that anymore, so let's see how this will work. Alright, I guess you can tell a lot's happened since I was last recording. What happened was I had the camera over here on the tripod facing everything and watching as I was working, or so I thought. I forgot to check the battery level, so the battery ran down, and I don't know where the footage stopped, but I have probably got a lot more done than what you guys saw. So I shortened the bed frame rail. You can tell I shortened it, made it into a rectangle instead of having the little thing sticking down. Welded a pipe back on it, and in order to get the thing to stay onto the roof, that's one of the challenges with this build, is the fact that the roof is round and the solar panels are flat. If this were a regular RV, this would not be hard at all to mount these and get them to tilt. That's kind of what I'm wanting to do. I'm wanting these to tilt upwards like that. I can put that side of the bus away from the sun, this side of the bus toward the sun, and when I tilt the panels, I'll get maximum sunlight. For different times of the year, I'll have to tilt them at different levels. But anyway, as you can see, I have hinges that are welded to the little frame that I made, and then instead of bolting the frame to the top of the bus, I welded it to the steel on top of the bus, so there's no holes. And well, there is one hole right there, and actually one there too, because I screwed those in so I could get my measurements right to make sure everything was square and straight, and then I screwed those in. Now I have to pull those out, and I'm going to fill those holes with silicone so it won't leak. But there are no holes on these. They are actually welded to the roof of the bus and welded to the bar, so that way that's good and solidly mounted. And the hinges are also welded on, and I am not a welder, so they're not beautiful welds, but it is welded. Okay. Down here you may notice I have Reflectix draped over the windows. You know the reason I do that? When you're welding, you can see how the welding slag right down through there, all this streaking, that welding slag will absolutely melt into your glass and destroy it. You would probably like to know how I know that. Just a second and I will show you. Okay, back when I was welding this rack up on Buster, of course here's Buster, when I was welding this rack on, I had no idea that, or I mean, if I'd thought about it, it probably would have made sense, but if I'd thought about it, I probably would have realized that this welding slag is affected by gravity, and it will go down. And what was under where I was welding, it ain't pretty. This, see these streaks? Those do not come off. That is melted into the glass right there. So if you're going to weld over top of windows, you can see I did it again right here. See, that actually melted right there. There. Actually, this one I think I tried to scrape off, because I thought I could like scrape the little metal piece off and it would be all right, but no, that's what you get. Yeah. So, yeah. So when you're welding something and you have glass under it, cover it up. Don't be a dummy like me. Okay, so now I guess all we got to do, well, next thing we got to do, we got more than just that, but we got one on this side. Let's see if we can't get one over here too. Alright, now we've got this side welded on. As you can see, all those are welded. Now, I've got this pipe right here that needs to go in between those two. Okay, they are tilted. Now, they're going to end up going at a higher angle, and there's going to be more bracing because it still needs bracing in the back. I really kind of had to get it where I could tilt it before I could even work on the back bracing, because I'm going to need to get up on the roof, up on the deck, and weld from there. And also this way I can work on my wiring too, because I can get to my wires a lot easier if I can just lift the solar panels up. Okay, so there is my folding solar panels. Basically, it's just hinged enough to where you can pick it up. I think it will work pretty good, because if you tilt your panels, you get like a 20% increased efficiency. So, with the panels tilted like this, I'll get the sun earlier in the morning and later in the evening as they're picked up like that. Well, I think that's about going to do it for this video. We got a little bit done today. Got the frame welded up. This would be a whole lot easier on a regular RV, because you wouldn't have the round roof to deal with, and you could just mount everything flat. That's got us some solar on there. We got to do all the wiring. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix up my tilting system to be more reliable than what I've got right there. I mean, it's kind of iffy what it is right now, but it will work well once I get it done. I haven't really had much time here lately because of work and cutting grass, doing other stuff. My son got married, so that was one more thing that was great. I was glad to be busy doing that. You know, we kind of got dressed up and all that. I might throw up a couple of pictures. Anyway, I guess that's probably going to about do this video. Appreciate you watching, and I will see y'all on the next one.